as people, we tend to be pretty quick to judge how other people think and to judge how other people do things. But we don't tend to do the same thing for ourselves. And, as people, when someone else tries to correct us in the way that we're thinking, we tend to be quick to kind of reject it. Now, it's worth noting that when it comes to actions, when it comes to pure actions, especially as a child, especially as we're growing up, we tend to kind of need correcting by parents, friends, and family, and things of this nature. Because naturally, as a child, when you grow up, you're going to develop bad habits if no one checks you on anything, right? And this is kind of ties into the experience that through life experience, you gain wisdom. Through doing things, you gain wisdom, right? You learn what things are good ideas, what things are bad ideas, and so on and so forth. Right? So it's something to keep in mind that when it comes to our behavior and to our actions, especially when we're growing up, if there's no correction that happens, we tend to develop bad habits. Now, given that actions come from thoughts, right? Actions do originate from thoughts because without thoughts, there is no action. We can naturally say that if our thoughts have no correction and if our thoughts aren't checked regularly, we can also develop bad habits into the way that we think, right? Because our thoughts, our mindset create reality. And if we develop bad habits in reality and develop bad habits in our world, they first originate from our thought process. So it's helpful to keep that in mind, all right? That nearly everything in the world and everything in our lives originates from thought. So that kind of shows you how important it is to develop the right mindset and to develop good habits when it comes to thoughts. And by good habits, I mean always maintaining a positive mindset. Checking yourself when you have negative thoughts to prevent yourself from spiraling. Because that's the problem with negative thoughts. You'll have one and then it leads to another, and then it starts you on a spot. And that's when things get the most dangerous for you. Now, when it comes to thinking positive and doing positive things in your life, you do one positive thing and then another thing, and then it continuously leads to more positivity. And then you start an upward spiral. And an upward spiral can be pretty conducive to your personal growth and development, right? So it's worth noting that, a lot of people are quick to judge others based on their actions, and they're quick to try to correct people based on their actions. But actions originate from thoughts. Always remember that. People don't act unless they think about doing something first. They always think about doing something before they actually do it. And once you realize that thoughts actually need more correcting and more regular checkups than your actions, because your actions literally come from your thoughts. And, given that no one in the real world can really sense what you're thinking all the time, sometimes they can sense a little bit of what you're thinking. People in the real world can't sense what you're thinking all the time, right? You are the only person that can really check yourself in your mindset and in the way your thoughts are, right? You're the only person that can hear your thoughts on a 24/7 basis. You're the only person that's surrounded by your thoughts, that can actually check your thoughts, that have the ability to change the way you think. You are the only person that can do that for yourself. Not a lot of people can hear what you're thinking. Only you can. So once you realize that, you realize it is your responsibility and you can take the initiative to make sure that you think positively and to develop positive habits in terms of mindset and to develop positive habits in terms of thinking how you're going to improve your life and to present yourself from developing bad habits and continuously making good decisions and starting yourself on an upward spiral for spiritual growth and life development.